morning. Here I am representing a topic about graph terminology. Graph is a non-linear data structure which is a set of vertices and edges. Vertex is an individual data element of a graph is called as vertex. Vertex is also known as node. When coming to edge, an edge is a connecting link between two vertices. Edge is also known as an arc. Edges are three types. One is undirected edge and second one is directed edge. Undirected edge means an undirected edge is a bidirectional edge. If there is an undirected edge between two vertices A and B, then edge of A comma B is equal to edge of B comma A. Directed edge. A directed edge is an undirectional edge. If there is a directed edge between vertices A and B, then edge of A comma B is not equal to edge of B comma A. And third one is weighted edge. A weighted edge is an edge with cost on it. So now let us discuss types of graphs. One is undirected graph. A graph with only undirected edges is said to be undirected graph. Here is the picture representation of undirected graph. It means we can say that in an undirected graph the edges not have any orientation or direction. Then it is said to be undirected graph. Directed graph. A graph with only directed edges is said to be directed graph. This is the representation of a directed graph. And coming to complete graph, a graph in which any V node is adjacent to all other nodes represented in the graph is known as complete graph. An undirected graph contains the edges that are equal to the edges n into n minus 1 by 2, where n is the number of vertices present in the graph. This is the complete graph. Regular graph. Regular graph is the graph in which nodes are adjacent to each other. Each node is accessible from any other node. For example, A is the node, it is accessible to the B, C and D. So like that B, C or D are accessible to the every other nodes, then it is said to be regular graph. Cyclic graph. A graph has cycle is called cyclic graph. In this cycle, the first and last nodes are the same. A closed simple path is a cycle. Next one is acyclic graph. A graph without cycle is called acyclic graphs and it does not contain any loops. So then it is said to be acyclic graph. Weighted graph. A graph which is mentioned with some weights or numbers, then it is said to be weighted graph. Like a graph is said to be weighted if there are some non-negative values assigned to each edge of the graph. The value is equal to the length between two vertices. Weighted graph is also called a network. Outgoing edge. A directed edge is said to be an outgoing edge on its own vertex. Incoming edge. A directed edge is said to be incoming edge on its destination vertex. Degree. Total number of edges connected to a vertex is said to be a degree of the vertex. Out degree. Total number of edges connected to a vertex is said to be a degree of that vertex. In degree, total number of incoming edges connected to a vertex is said to be in degree of the vertex. Out degree, total number of outgoing edges connected to a vertex is said to be out degree of that vertex. Parallel edges or multiple edges. If there are two undirected edges to have the same and vertices, and for two directed edges to have the same origin and the same destination, such edges are called parallel edges or multiple edges. Self loop. An edge is a self loop if its two endpoints coincide. Simple graph. A graph is said to be simple if there are no parallel and self loop edges. Thank you.